Now, before we start, I have to give credit to 5 Minute Body. She went through the entire echelon of carnivore doctors, which is bloody amazing, right? How she got all of them to do interviews with her. That's pretty fucking cool, right? I want to be that level of YouTuber one day. Hopefully I'm not getting there through carnivore dieting though. What's up, Patrick?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for inviting me again.
Please subscribe to Foolproof Mastery. He is added in the description. And what's up, Brendan?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. Everything is good on my end.
You're building a stack there behind you, the famous boxes.
Look, you never know when you're gonna need a big box. Okay, I'll reveal what's in there one day. It's not anything exciting though, I promise.
Special stream.
Is it huge bowls of oatmeal in the boxes?
No, but I do have one right here.
That's the famous one.
That's what I prompted for.
Do you put any protein powder in your oatmeal?
No. Yeah, I don't really hit the gym, so it's not I get enough protein as is, so it's fine.
Oh, I thought you deadlift and you go to the gym.
No, I used to. Yeah, I tried to get into it recently, like I want to say like 6 months ago. I just couldn't get back into it. It's just I just get bored. Like I don't have like the motivation, anymore. In high school I did, but not anymore.
It is quite boring. It's the one thing that prevents me from being serious about lifting. I mean, I could swole in like 2 weeks if I actually committed to lifting, but it's so fucking boring.
Yeah, for me, I just because my main focus was powerlifting, right? So I was trying to get my squat, bench, and deadlift as high as possible. And I had a really strong motivation for it in high school. I mean, I did that pretty much all of high school. But now I don't have like a goal, like I don't want to get my deadlift to a certain amount. It doesn't really bother me, or it doesn't really matter to me. I did get back into skating though recently, like skateboarding. So I've been doing that. So that's been fun.
That's scary.
It can be, yeah, but it's I wear a helmet and stuff, so it's good fun.
That's our PSA for today, and let's jump in. So this is Patrick. Do you mind giving an introduction to the person on the screen?
The famous, Dr. Anthony Chaffee, who is one of the leading proponents in the carnivore movement. I don't know what much to say apart from he had a debate with Dr. Nagra, which went shockingly bad.
Yep.
For Dr. Chaffee, but there was lots of cope from the carnivore community saying that they didn't like the way they thought maybe Dr. Nagra was a little bit too aggressive or too passionate. So that was the main pushback from the carnivore community that I saw.
Dr. Nagra, the teddy bear, was too aggressive. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I find that's usually the cope when you don't have like a good argument in response. You just say, "Oh, well, you're just aggressive," or like you're mean,
Yeah. There was also the debate of Dr. Chaffee with Vegan Booty and her boyfriend, Jack Higgs, which was interesting. And LVL covered it, so you can go check it out. So, okay, this is again 5 Minute Body.
I'll quickly add that recently I've noticed that Dr. Chaffee is just giving out advice to people in his streams. So people send him money and he'll just give all sorts of advice, which is like, for me, sort of insane. The other day I screenshotted someone sent in like, I don't know how many dollars they sent him, but they were saying, oh, my wife is completely carnivore, but she's gaining weight. And then off the top of my head, I can't exactly remember, but I think he sort of recommended it was like to ditch everything except the meat or something like this. Like,
that's crazy. That seems like real slippery slope territory. To be giving out medical advice for money on the internet, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, and then another one I saw was that someone was like wrote in saying, "How do I get my baby, weaning onto a carnivore diet?" And then he sort of recommended like have a roast and then give the juices from the roast to the baby, and then give like a big piece of flesh to the baby, and then let the baby with one tooth sort of just get used to eating flesh.
That is fucking crazy.
Yeah, and then they say that vegans like indoctrinate people. That's real weird. That's Did you screenshot that?
Yeah.
All right, can you send it to our chat? I just want to see it. I'm curious.
Yeah, I can send it to
Cool.
you. And if
Patrick,
anyone's
you're so
interested.
good at grabbing stuff. You're such a good internet explorer there. I already defined that term just now. Okay, I was thinking today, just one more thing before we start. I was thinking today, through this exploration of carnivore doctors, I think we'll find common denominators in what we can call a charlatan. And maybe at the end of the series, whenever we decide to end it, because there are more guys, there are more carnivore doctors coming that were interviewed by 5 Minute Body, we might need to conclude what the charlatan looks like, and so that people could recognize it better, maybe. I don't know. I'm always looking at how to get to like a sort of something core-like to learn from any experience. I think that could be nice for people.
The NutriBot has a great article on how to identify a quack.
Yeah. I remember him talking about it. I haven't read the entire article myself. Yeah, I guess. Anyways, you're right.
There's no shortcuts. There's no way to just cheat and just manufacture.
So guys, can please in the chat tell us that everybody can hear everybody else, including Dr. Chafee here.
Yes, please.
Please give me a 1. Yeah, a 1 if you can, a 0 if you cannot. Oh, awesome. 1s are coming in. Perfect.
Results you want. You need to do it the right way. That's the only way that you're going to get reliable, reproducible, and healthy, safe results, and you're going to get the best results.
Dr. Anthony Chafee is back, and we're diving deep into the 10 worst carnivore mistakes that you're making when starting a carnivore diet. Now,
oh my God, I can't wait. Worst carnivore mistakes. That's amazing.
Number
learn
one,
how to do
trying
carnivore
the
best.
carnivore.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry, go Patrick.
I just said number 1, trying the carnivore diet.
I was going to say,
diet.
I just noticed that her channel is called 5 Minute Body. That's already kind of an issue, right? It's very misleading. 5 minute, like that's already unscientific. So I didn't notice that before, that her literal channel name is 5 Minute Body. And I was just gonna say,
further, my name is postmortem, and I'm clearly still alive despite being vegan for 9 years.
That is true. But I don't think her channel is you're pretty heavy on the sarcasm. Her channel is not.
Yeah.
And also, I was gonna say her shirt. I don't know if you guys have this, but when it's like love is and it's like ... All I saw on her shirt was butter is, and it reminded me of that. Like, I don't know. Anyway, let's continue.
I love it. Stream of consciousness. Awesome.
I've spoken to Dr. Chafee numerous times, and I will link all the videos up here, but this interview will change the way that you follow the carnivore diet. Now, Dr. Anthony Chafee will be joining us live on our monthly membership group. You can chat to him directly and ask him all of your burning questions. I will leave the link.
Patrick, that's what you were talking about, isn't it? Holy shit.
He also does his own streams, I believe. I think this one he's joining her channel.
Yeah.
But I think I've seen on Twitter he does streams where people send in money and then he just like says whatever he wants, and then
Isn't that fucking disgusting, right? You being a doctor, you must know that there is a procedure into giving like medical or even dietary advice. You can't just read like a paragraph about a person and make a decision, especially if you like all of your fucking advice is going to be the same fucking thing, right? Eat meat, eat mostly meat, or eat isolated meat. I mean, that's the range of it is going to be, right?
Mm-hmm. And then the cases where things are going wrong, I've seen him just say, your body's going through a healing phase. You need to sort of just keep on eating and then eventually your body will heal. So that's what I heard him say to someone who said, my wife has Crohn's disease and she's gaining weight on a carnivore diet. And he said, like one potential thing is that the body's going through healing. So yeah, just really vague and just, not what a responsible medical professional would be doing.
Holy shit, like specifically Crohn's. Should mind your own fucking business and send them to an actual doctor. That is such a serious disease. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this whole group that we have on the screen is very concerning because we're talking about paying for consultation for something that isn't scientifically supported or recognized as beneficial by any health organization. Now, I don't want to appeal to authority, but like when you have no evidence and no organization like health organization supporting it, you're just paying grifters. They're just grifters. That's all it is. It's just a really, I guess, a lucrative way to make money, apparently, because a lot of people are interested in the carnivore diet for some reason. It reminds me of like, I don't know, like anything like psychic mediums or religious people where there's no actual support for what they're promoting or selling, and people pay them anyway. You know, it's very interesting. I don't know.
Brandon, what do you mean you don't know why people do the carnivore diet? It heals fucking everything.
You're right. I guess I'm just not as swayed by the apparently millions of anecdotes at this point of how beneficial the carnivore diet is. So just a couple comments on a YouTube page is not enough for me, but I guess I'm the weird one. I don't know.
And let's ignore all the other comments that say diarrhea, HTN, diabetes, etc.
Link down below and you can get a special 20% discount. Dr. Chafee, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good to see you.
So many people start carnivore and they lose weight without counting calories. They have reversed chronic diseases, but...
I mean, just because you don't count calories doesn't mean you are not in a calorie deficit. I'm a huge calories in, calories out and counting calories proponent, unless people have like some kind of history. Like, I propone it to myself. I don't give advice online about it, right? I just bash people who say something against it. That's all I do. But like, what was her claim? I'm sorry.
And they lose weight without counting calories. They have reversed chronic diseases.
I mean, well, it's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, technically she's like, she's not saying anything incorrect. I understand what you're saying though. It kind of sounds like she's implying that on a carnivore diet, calories don't matter, which I don't, yeah, that's not true. But, or I would argue that's not true, but yeah, that's technically not what she said. She did say like, they don't have to count it and they'll still lose weight, but yeah, it's kind of misleading.
I mean, to be fair, like, I think like, well, I don't know if you can claim that every diet where you substitute some foods for others, you're basically doing a calorie reduction. Like, I think it's like almost a reversed way to look at it. If it's a diet and people lose weight on it, it means, and it replaces some foods with others, then it's a diet that just reduces calories.
Yeah, diets that are effective in weight loss would have to be lower in calories. I would, assume that would be the case.
One day I'm going to be very specific about my personal anecdote, how I lost 10 kilos on a calories in, calories out diet. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, you mean you lost 10 kilos eating 8,000 calories a day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. My chronometer says so as well.
Mistakes that wreck their results, including their fat loss results. So what I wanted to do was to talk to you today about the 10 worst mistakes that people make when starting carnivore. So can we start off with the first worst mistake that you think people make?
So I think a very common mistake that people make is they don't eat enough in general. It's very easy to undereat on a carnivore diet. Your hunger signals are very...
I'm going to ask the same question as I asked Dr. Baker. In what way? I mean, what is the mechanism there? What is the trait that a carnivore diet has that makes it, like, I don't know, I guess more satiating or easier to undereat, I guess? I don't know.
Well, they're just much more mild and subtle than when you're eating carbohydrates. When you eat carbohydrates, it just...
Do you think there's a merit to that claim, Patrick? That like having a low-calorie carnivore diet is like it's easier to miss that you are under eating?
Well, I don't, just anecdotally, there are people gaining weight on the carnivore diet, so I'll need to see some research into this to be able to say. But just in general, elimination diets, at least in the short term, they tend to be good because it's a quick change, and when you're just eliminating the foods available to you, at least the placebo as well, like you think, oh, okay, it's all going good.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. Sorry. Yeah.
I was gonna say, just from a personal standpoint, like, think about what you're eating. Like, if I can't imagine eating animal flesh again, but if I had to eat nothing but just animal flesh, and a lot of it's like rare, because I don't know if they usually promote like rare, raw, that kind of stuff. I mean, how much of that can you eat? Like, after a bite, I'd probably start feeling a little sick. Like you're eating nothing but like, and they promote like fatty meat as well. Usually it's pretty high fat. It's a lot of protein. High fat is satiating from what I understand. So, if you're eating nothing but steak and butter, if you aren't satiated from the fat, you're going to be satiated from the nausea. I mean, how many steaks can you eat in a day? With carbs, I could sit here and eat all types of, I could eat carbs all day, especially refined carbohydrates. They're just not as satiating, and especially I would say like the processing, like chips, different easily palatable things I could eat all day. Whereas steak, I cannot imagine eating an endless amount of steak. That's just crazy to me.
I'm gonna plug it, and also there is a point to me plugging my new Instagram channel called Harmsteader, and I've been learning all kinds of stuff while preparing posts for this channel, and how it's called, Instagram channel. Is that okay to say?
Page, Instagram page.
Yeah. All right. And one of the things that I learned is that carnivores are full of fucking shit, because all the farmers on the Homesteader page are saying that if you raise a cow grass-fed, grass-finished, it's an incredibly lean, tough, disgusting meat. The only thing they can say about it that the flavor is kind of earthier, I guess, and that you have to add a ton of butter to maybe save it from its terrible, terrible taste and terrible, terrible texture. And all of them, without a doubt, say that if you want fatty meat, if you don't want lean meat, you gotta pen them, which I think basically means lock them up, and the cows, and feed them grain in the past 1 or 2 months before you slaughter them. So carnivores who are saying that they eat grass-fed, grass-finished beef are full of fucking shit. Either they eat disgusting meat that tastes like almost like dirt and is incredibly tough to chew. You really have to save it with a huge amount of butter, or they're being lied to, or they are lying, right? It could be also that they're being lied to and told that this marbled beef is grass-fed, grass-finished. Anyways, sorry, this is very disgusting tangent, but let's continue.
Accents that hunger signal, and your body thinks you really need energy when you don't necessarily. And so you tend to have a stronger signal. So when that goes away, you have a much more subtle signal, and so people can undereat very, very easily. I did for the first few.
What is that about signal?
Much more subtle signal, and so people have energy when you don't necessarily.
Sorry.
And so you tend to have a stronger signal. So when that goes away, you have a much more subtle signal, and so people can undereat very, very easily. I did for the first few years.
Is he talking about hunger signal?
Yeah, I think so. About hunger cues, yeah.
So what's the mechanism there? Is still my question, I guess.
Yeah, he's not explaining anything. To me, I can make assumptions. To me, I think it's the amount of fat and protein or whatever, but he's not actually providing any evidence or breaking down why that's happening or why he thinks that's happening. So yeah, he just expects people to just believe it. I don't know.
Yeah, I can absolutely anecdotally make basically the same claim about crisps, which are chips or whatever the name is, like the crispy potatoes. I don't know why I've lately been eating a lot of them. But the thing is, if I eat 500 calories of crisps, I'm not hungry for 4 or 5 hours. I don't know why. What's happening? Maybe I should go on a crisp diet. Maybe that's the best diet for me, the crisp diet. Patrick, you want to add something?
I'll just add that satiety is quite complex. There's many different factors involved, and it can also be satiety can be also related to hydration as well. So when you're more hydrated, or as when you eat food with a higher water holding capacity, such as fiber, that can keep you satiated. Or it can also be a mental thing. If you have a craving for something and you eat it, then that could potentially keep you you've sort of satisfied what you wanted. So
yeah. Okay. So, Martin says carnivores are literally full of shit. True, unless they have diarrhea. So I'm sorry for the carnivores in the chat. I apologize. There are some. I'm really sorry. Once in a while, I'm gonna blatantly laugh at you. I'm sorry.
That I was doing this, I even noticed this. I was like, I haven't eaten in 3 days, 4 days, and I'm working out like crazy. And I should really eat, but I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm just not hungry.
I struggle to believe that he didn't eat for 4 days.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, when I was going specifically Anthony Chafee's YouTube page, a lot of the people he would interview, their stories do not make any sense. We might actually want, I don't know if we want to react to that one time, but there's this one, I swear, his story, the guy who was like used to be vegan and then is now carnivore, he was saying that he was eating vegetables, but he wasn't eating vegetables, and he was eating a lot. Then his story was so inconsistent that I can't even believe people are like buying it. And I'm like, what kind of like, it's one thing if you have a true, right, anecdote where like the people are honest and what they experience, they really like are convinced that they experienced. But when you have somebody who's clearly just making things up, right? Like it's so inconsistent. I was like, Jesus. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, it sounds like something we could react to and unpack.
To really eat, but I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm just not hungry. I'm just not hungry. But anytime I would eat, it tasted amazing and I enjoyed it. And that's when I came to realize that taste signal is a better marker. And so you have to relearn your hunger signal.
Wait. Hold on. If something tastes good, that's a better marker of whether or not you're hungry or you should eat. I don't.
So if you eat, I don't know, donuts and they taste really good, that means that they're like, you need to eat them, or I don't know.
No. I'm sorry. I have to be overly charitable again. That's not his claim. His claim is that the flavor, the taste, that it tastes good, is a better marker to whether you should eat or not than hunger. In case of a carnivore diet.
In the case, yeah, I guess. But that's the thing is like, why is it only in the case of the carnivore diet and not other things, right? If taste is such a good marker for hunger, then look, I can literally, guys, I have no stopping power. If you put a whole thing of cookies in front of me, I will eat everything. I will just eat it. And it still tastes good. From the first one to the 20th one, it tastes delicious. So I must still be hungry.
So yeah, what's the symmetry break with the carnivore diet?
Exactly.
Why does it? Yeah. Why in one case is it like the natural cues that you need to eat, and then in the other case not?
Do you know what my favorite thing that they say? Oh, this is my favorite. My favorite is when they say, just look at children. Children don't eat their vegetables. And that's actually because they're smart and are intuitively eating. You should give them what they want. And it's like, how can, and then when you bring up cookies, they're like, no, that's different. That's like processed food. It's like, what's the symmetry breaker? You're saying that children can intuitively eat. So what's the difference?
I will again repeat my anecdote that I gave like a month ago or something like that. When I was a young child, all I wanted to eat for a while is raw potatoes. That's as unprocessed as it fucking gets. That's what I wanted to eat. And I was actually like, my parents had to like forcefully make me stop doing it, right? So I guess, okay.
Maybe you were onto something. Maybe there's like some beneficial compound in raw potatoes.
Maybe that's the reason that I'm actually advocating for the potato diet instead of carnivore diet. I'm not advocating for any diet, basically, frankly. Maybe that's why when I eat potato crisps these days, I just satiate it for a long period of time.
Who knows? Like Patrick said, satiation is very complex. There's a lot of factors that go into it.
Especially when you start in childhood. Is that, yeah. I guess off
the top of my head, potatoes have got quite a high ranking in satiety.
Yeah. Well, potato crisps though do they usually, because monosodium glutamate and all that stuff. Oh, well, satiety is not the same as hyper palatability. I'm sorry, I'm mixing shit up. Okay.
Really quick, sorry, I just like talking to you guys. I was gonna say, when it comes to potatoes, I don't know if you guys ever eaten. I'm sure you guys have eaten a baked potato, right?
Yeah.
That's very like, I can't eat more than one of those because it feels like a lot of work. Especially if you just eat, because like when I go out to a restaurant that doesn't have vegan options, I'm eating a plain baked potato. That's like, by the time you're done, you're like, I just don't want to eat anymore, you know? Like, it's dry and it's like, all right, I guess I'm done. I don't know.
I'm sorry, we don't have the same experience. I can eat so many baked potatoes.
Really? Wow, okay. No, you're a potato person. What are you going to do? You're the potato.
I guess so.
I remember when Vegan Gains did a reaction, I think it was maybe to Cosmic Skeptic or some ex-vegan, and he was like, you can literally live off of potatoes and a multivitamin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I plugged in my entire calorie allowance with potatoes and with 80% lean means, right? And potatoes provide more nutrition than the carnivore diet, the way I think most like common people, the carnivores that I talk to, they talk about meats like a lot, eating meats because it's cheap and because it's you can choose the fattiness in it, and it's actually calculated in meats, right? They have to say how much fat is in it. So like plugging in those two, the cheapest diets of like, let's say the plant-based diet, the cheapest diet would be potatoes, and the cheapest diet would be on the carnivore side would be meats. And potatoes provide more nutrients. I'm sorry.
And that's the thing, like people...
For protein though, horrible for protein. That's why don't go on a potato diet without supplementing protein as well. And other stuff, and B12 and all that shit.
And I was going to say that's why like when people are like, oh, I can't be vegan for practical reasons, like Cosmic Skeptic, it's like, really? You can't take a multivitamin and just eat whatever? Just eat for what? Like, how long are you traveling for? A week, right? Like a week of eating whatever, as long as you supplement, you'll be fine. Just go back to eating, a better balanced diet when you get back. I've gone a week eating garbage, and it's like, it's not going to kill you, right? As long as you supplement and you eat enough calories, you'll be fine. So I don't get this whole practical argument, especially when you're traveling in first world countries, which he was traveling in Europe, maybe the US, like places where there are plenty of options. So I don't get it.
Yeah. I'm actually moving toward a garbage diet. That's what I'm doing. I'm like seriously replacing whole foods with garbage food right now. So I bought this multivitamin and I'm going to start taking it.
And just to clarify,
when I fully transform into a garbage diet, sorry?
I was going to say, just to clarify before the skin starts peeling off of Patrick's face, even garbage food, quote unquote, there is no such thing. Any food can be part of a healthy diet, just so we know. There we go.
You want to say it, Patrick? You want to say it?
Yeah, Brandon said it. And,
no, but you gotta say it. It's your catchphrase.
Anything can be part of a healthy diet. Yeah. And,
yes.
So good.
And in studies which look at ultra processed food, the detrimental effects seem to be driven by things such as sugar sweetened beverages and animal based ultra processed foods. So it's potentially, you could be pretty healthy with a ultra processed diet, which eliminates these ones.
Yeah, I could imagine that if it's like low in saturated fat, low in like added sugar, and like not you're not like consuming excess calories, I don't see an issue with processed foods. I don't think there's any evidence to support that like the processing by itself is going to cause any issues.
I'm just checking sat fat on my potato chips.
And based on the available evidence, meal replacement drinks seem to be great in terms of like weight loss programs. Weight loss programs that include meal replacement drinks do better than just traditional weight loss programs. So I'm not what's the word, promoted by Huel or whatever.
No. Next time, Patrick, we'll see you with like a drink, like you'll be holding it up here the whole time.
No. Put it on your t-shirt the way Sean Baker did.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But like make it bigger, more, Anyway, let's continue. Yes.
Going by taste. So if meat, fatty meat especially, because as any chef will tell you, fat is flavor.
Well, then that excludes grass-fed, grass-finished beef, right? So this is the last time I want to hear from carnivore dieters that the only animal that dies for them is one cow per year, whatever it is. If you eat fatty meat, then you are responsible for crop deaths. There you go.
If you're eating fatty meat and you're hungry, it will taste good. And so you're getting that positive feedback.
So it's again intuitive eating kind of situation because he's not providing like a scientific mechanism behind it, is he?
But then eventually once your body has enough of it, it actually will get less and less positive feedback until you get no positive feedback. And then you just feel like, I'm not really interested in eating this, and you just naturally stop. If you keep eating it, you'll actually get negative feedback. And it'll actually start tasting bad, and you won't want to do that. And some people, I have patients that have had portion issues, and they're used to eating a large volume of food, and they say, I can't finish my meals. I get halfway through, and I feel nauseous, and I hate it.
Just again, imagine advocating for a diet that makes you nauseous, and that's your cue to stop eating.
Right, that's what gets you to lose the weight. It's like, yeah, when I eat this food, I want to throw up, so I don't eat anymore. It's like, all right, I mean, I guess that's a fix to to help you with your calorie management. I don't know.
Oh God! Like my favorite, seriously, my favorite carnivore cringe and co posts are when people on the carnivore diet start saying that they start loathing the flavor of beef, right? They start hating it, and they can't eat anymore. They can't go get anything down. I really hope those people are running in the other direction of a carnivore diet as fast as possible. Frankly.
This tastes disgusting. And I have to force feed myself. And of course, I explained to them, well, this is your body telling you that you were actually done halfway through the meal. Your meal was done halfway through your plate, and that you should just, put it in the fridge and then come back to it another time.
Next one. What is your next mistake that people make when starting a carnivore diet?
Yeah, the next one would just be not eating enough fat in particular. That's a very common one. People will, maybe they'll be eating more meat and they'll be eating a lot more fat than they used to. But of course, we've been told for the last 40 years, 50 years, don't eat any fat. And so most people are eating a lot more
okay,
fat.
time out. That's just blatant. That's just misinformation. Nobody said don't eat any fat. That's incorrect. Like, I don't even know where he could have even got that from. Specifically, the focus has been on lowering saturated fat intake.
Yeah.
It's not don't eat any fat. We all, most nutritionists, I would hope, recognize that you need healthy fats. You need fat as a human to survive, but you do not need to eat large amounts of saturated fat. So yeah, I'm calling BS on that. That's just blatant misinformation.
Yeah, but also, how do people fucking know when they don't, like, they start a new diet without, I don't know, tracking it somehow? You know what I mean? Like, not with feelings, but with actual data, right? How do they know any of this without plugging it into Chronometer? And even Chafee doesn't say, we'll eat 40% fat, right? Not that people would have an intuition of what that looks like, even.
Yeah, like you could have like a health promoting diet without tracking. The thing is, if you want to actually make sure you're not deficient in anything, if you want to make sure you're getting a certain amount of X nutrient, you have to track. At least it's a much more reliable way. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be way more reliable. You can't just go off of like eyeballing the foods you're eating, especially if it's less processed. So there's no like nutrition label on the back telling you what's in the meal you're eating.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what all this hate about like tracking. Now, no one specifically said don't track, but there is this message of like, well, intuitively
without counting calories,
right,
the way
natural, this and that. But it's like, why? Like, we have tools. We can literally do the math, and we can see I'm getting this nutrient, I'm getting this, I'm eating this amount of calories. So I need to track. I don't track every day. I eat most similar foods. But if I'm like trying a new type of, trying a new combination of foods or something, I put it in the tracker and I see what it looks like.
I definitely do that as well. Since I did my diet, I completely changed the way I look at food. I now have amazing intuition about how much of, at least of calories there is in every food, right? But yeah, it did turn my diet a little bit samey, but I think that's okay. Like my definition of samey diet is like 40 different foods. Their definition of samey diet is one food. It's kind of strange.
They used to eat, but it's not enough fat. And so they're thinking it couldn't possibly be that because, I'm eating so much more fat than I ever ate. So obviously I'm eating enough fat, but in fact, it's a lot more than that. So animals in the wild typically get around 70 to 80% calories from fat. Carnivores, because they eat animals.
What animals in the wild? So which animals are we talking? Like, do you know what my biggest issue with this is? He's just saying stuff. This is like if I got on and I said, hey, the clouds, they can talk, and the clouds who talk, they say that it's going to rain. He's just saying things. There's no evidence. He's just saying generic. He's not even being specific about the things he's claiming with a lack of evidence. He's just like he's like animals in the wild get 80% of their calories from fat. What animals? What are we talking? Herbivores?
Yeah, I'm guessing
get 80%
he means
of their calories from fat. I don't know what we're talking about.
I'm guessing he means carnivores, but
is that even true?
That number?
Because carnivores,
they eat lean animals from the wild who are running around, who are not in pens eating grain all day, right?
Yeah, because if lions, if the obviously they idolize lions because they're wonderful people, but if lions eating like gazelles and zebras, those are like lean animals because they're walking and running away from predators all day. So I just don't know I don't know where people are getting this, like, you need to get 80% of your calories from fat. That is crazy talk.
Like, off the top of my head, I can't even think, like, what if he says animals, and when he says animals, he means like a very specific species, but I can't think of fucking, like, maybe sea animals,
or maybe
some of them.
No, it
like,
could be animals who eat like a lot of coconuts or something more like something like that.
Is
Maybe
there?
like some monkeys. I don't know. Patrick, you got anything?
I just had that. Why is he sort of throwing out all of nutrition science and then just going back to what animals are doing? Also, it's assuming that animals have some sort of optimal health, that what they eat what they eat is optimal, and we can just look at what humans are eating, look at the sort of exposures, and gain an idea, because it's possible that even if there are some foods that we ate historically, that it's not the best for us in terms of longevity or other outcomes.
That's a great point. You're right. It's like he's assuming that animals somehow have nutrition science figured out somehow, where instead of like just eating whatever they can get their hands on for survival, which is so, why is, I don't know. I don't understand how, like, you're looking at wild animals who are on the verge of starvation most of the time, trying to eat whoever and whatever they can. And you're saying, you know what? They've got it figured out. Whereas our science that we have developed over hundreds and thousands of years, developing better methods for accuracy, trying to get closer and closer to the truth, just throw it out. Totally unreliable. I don't understand. I don't get it.
So I'm just trying to count the levels of wrongness of that statement. There is probably, like, maybe you can find like a specific animal that has 80% fat diet, but animals don't. That's wrong, number one. Wrong, number two, why would you take, even if it was right, why would you take that to mean that they are healthy? Right? And that's wrong, number two. And even if they are healthy, right, I'm granting all of that, why would you then translate it to human, who's a different animal supposedly? But even if you can translate it, we have actual human outcome data, health outcomes. Why would you listen to this appeal to nature fallacy, basically, that's playing on repeat in your head, over actual science? You're doctor, dude. Can we continue? Yeah.
Fat, and they go for the fat first, but also herbivores, because that's actually what they break down fiber into. So they eat fiber, but it's actually
herbivores break down fiber into fat.
I think there might be some truth in this. I think we heard this before, right, Brandon?
Mm-hmm.
So it's potentially, but yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that if you that you have, like, eating fat will then be optimal, or, you know.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it say to eat fiber then?
And
that's what you always.
Whatever. If a specific animal converts something into something else, that has nothing to do with us. Like, clearly we're not converting that the same way. So I don't know how that's like direct advice. Also, I've yet to see any evidence for this, like, fiber to fat conversion. In the way that he means it. So the way that he is like making it sound is that when animals consume carbohydrates, or maybe fiber, whatever he's saying, they are converting those calories into like fat calories, or like calories from fat. And I don't know if that's true. That doesn't seem like it would make sense, but I don't know. So no one's yet he hasn't provided evidence. Sean Baker no one's provided evidence. So I don't know.
So if that's true, I would actually need more specificity there, right? I'm again granting. Fuck it, I'm gonna grant. I would want to know, well, what kind of fat, right? Because we have sat fat, monounsaturated, polyunsaturated. Those are important fucking questions, right? Because he's probably gonna say at some point, and I think I heard him say that you need sat fat, right? That sat fat is the epitome of healthy food that you can eat. He's on a carnivore diet. Well, I need to know that fiber converts to the fat type of fat that you want. I actually understood that it converts into, like, adipose fat.
I think it can convert into, like, fatty acids from a Google. So don't take my word on this, but that's what what we saw last time when I Googled it. But like, for example, humans, that we break down starches into sugars, right? It doesn't mean that an optimal diet would be pure table sugar. That's like another analogy you can use.
Yeah, that's a great one. Exactly. Yeah. if there's a conversion happening, it doesn't mean you can go directly like around the conversion and just eat, you know, the end result like directly. That's a great point.
They're bacteria that digest and absorb.
Well, yeah, to be fair, he would say that we are not herbivores, which is true, but we're not carnivores either, and we're not animal simpliciter, right? If he's turning this into a game of naturalistic appeal to nature fallacy, he should at least be like specific about this kind of shit. Or I mean, I guess it could be that all animals just, you know, do the same thing in their body, right? When they ingest food. Could be. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, do carnivores digest food the same way as herbivores? That's what he's implying, right? Basically. Into the same components, I mean. I don't know.
The fiber. And as a byproduct, they release fat and protein. So even a gorilla and a cow.
What's a fat protein?
I think he said fats and proteins. Maybe let's maybe go back.
Byproduct, they release fat and protein. So even a gorilla and a cow.
Yeah, he said fat and protein.
Plants.
Okay.
Grass and leaves, they actually absorb fat and protein. And so we all need fat and protein. They get that, you know, gorillas get around 70% calories from fat. Cows.
Ruminants are not the only herbivores. This is another thing that like completely ticks me off on this taxonomic goofery. It's like
even closer to 80% calories from fat. And again, so that's a lot more fat than people think. If we've been told to get like less than 20% calories from fat, well, now you want more than that. And it's different for different people, but it's generally a lot more than people think. And so if people are tired of the lethargic, especially if they're not having as good of workouts and they don't have the same energy levels that they used to on exertion, that can be a major reason why. And so just to think about that, maybe, you know.
It's so easy advocating for 80% fat diet. How would you even get there? Can anybody speculate?
Well, animals do it, so we should just follow. We should just look at what they're doing. That'd be easy. We just get there the same way animals do it.
I mean, it wouldn't be just like if fatty beef is about 80% protein, 20% fat. How would you get to a reversed of that? I don't know.
Sticks of butter.
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm.
Just start shoving them in there. 5 sticks a day.
Am I eating?
Fuck, I'm grossed out just thinking about it. Because I'm grossed out not because butter doesn't taste good. I'm sorry, it does. But it's the TikTokers, the carnivore TikTokers who take sticks of butter and just eating them. It's just something so wrong about it. It's my feelings. I'm not making like a moral statement right now.
Yeah, no, but it's like, doctor, you know, I don't know what's wrong. I can only make it through half a stick of butter before I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And he's like, no, that's good. Save the other half for later. It's you're intuitively eating. It's like, are you, or are you just getting nauseous because it's a stick of butter? You know, like what are we talking about?
Patrick, do you have anything to add?
Nothing for the moment, no.
It's just crazy.
Okay. Oh, insane. Thank you for the laugh, Brendan.
Enough that.
That's why I have butter is gold. Because butter, fatty meat, and all the fat is really important because that's what keeps you satiated.
Yeah.
But are you getting to 80% fat diet is what I want to know. And how do you figure that out is what I want to know. I don't know.
Just to check that I was correctly tracking, earlier on was his point that because ruminants can produce, fatty acids from fiber, that we should be eating fat. Is that?
No, he says animals in wild,
Yeah.
all animals are getting about 80% fat in their diets in the wild. And even ruminants, the herbivores, he called them, not the ruminants, are kind of converting fiber into fat. So they are also getting 80% fat in their diets.
Yeah, I think there's 2 separate claims. There's one where he said animals, like blanket term, are getting 80% of their calories from fat. And then the other one was herbivores, let's say take a cow for example, convert fiber or carbohydrates into fatty acids or into fat, and again that's still 80%. So I don't know what that's the thing is like.
So,
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the first point, by animals he's talking about predators, or
we don't know. He just said animals. We don't know.
I thought we were talking about carnivores. I mean,
we can assume, assuming he's on the carnivore diet, we can assume he's talking about carnivorous animals. But again, it's just an assumption. This is the problem with vagueness, right? We have to do the work into trying to decipher, the hieroglyphics that he's writing on the wall. Whereas that's not how you communicate a message.
Yeah, but I'll also add that humans can also ferment, humans can also produce short-chain fatty acids from fiber. So maybe
Sounds like we should be eating more fiber.
Maybe that's an argument from Dr. Chafee for to eat fiber.
How does he not flip into that then, right? How does it justify supposedly eating 80% fat carnivore diet, however he gets to that number, but not like a very varying diet with like 20% protein and then like, I don't know, 30% fat and the rest in carbs that also turns into a fat molecule supposedly to him, according to him and according to Patrick apparently. So just going on a vegan diet sounds like it's compatible with what Dr. Chafee is telling us here.
Yeah, no, I'll also add that the hypothesis for the benefit of fiber is the production of short-chain fatty acids in the intestine of humans, so by the gut microbiome. So maybe Dr. Chafee should add in some fiber into his diet.
Maybe he'll start cheating when he does that. I'm sorry, once in a while I have to. I apologize. Carnivores in the chat. I'm sorry.
And your body chases nutrients more than it chases calories. And fat is not just the calorie source. It is an essential nutrient. There are essential fatty acids that you have to have that you cannot get from anything except animal source.
Yeah, ALA is one of them. You guys ignore it.
Yeah,
wait.
There were a couple of
Sorry. Should I play?
Play it again, yeah.
That is not just the calorie source. It is an essential nutrient. There are essential fatty acids that you have to have that you cannot get from anything except animal sources, and they come.
That is misinformation.
Dude, there's so much misinformation already. We're only 5 minutes in.
Well, I think he's talking about EPA DHA, right? Completely ignoring that we have EPA DHA supplements, right?
But we don't know. That's the thing is, all he said was there are some essential fatty acids or essential fat that you can't get from it. He's not even specifying what those are.
And it's not essential. EPA DHA is not essential. ALA is getting from plants. There is I actually checked it out. If don't remember what his name is, a carnivore dieter like 2 weeks ago. There is some traces of it in meat, but not enough. So.
Yeah, EPA and DHA, they're not classified as essential, as you said, post-mortem, and ALA you can get from all sorts of plants.
And just to make sure, I have to reiterate this because I think we don't know this enough. ALA is an essential nutrient. ALA in itself is an essential nutrient, not only as a conduit to being converted into EPA and DHA. ALA itself is important to the function of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And I also just want to point out that he said the body chases nutrients more than it does calories. I just don't know, does my body have a mind of its own? I just don't understand what he's saying. What's the evidence for this chasing of nutrients? What does he mean by that? Right? Because
even if I look at it metaphorically, I will again drop in my own anecdote. My body is chasing fucking potato crisps.
Right. And even if we look at animals are if he wants to point animals, they're almost certain. I would definitely speculate that they're almost certainly chasing calories. They have no concept of nutrients. They have no I don't. They're eating whatever they can get their hands on. So I can't imagine that they would be after anything other than what is intuitively food to them. We're going to keep them alive. I don't think animals are in the wild are perfectly they have all of their nutrients met. I'm sure they're probably deficient in different things as well at times. So I just don't know what he's talking about.
Well, Brandon, at this point, he's not comparing humans to animals. He's before he did, but now humans are special, and also there is nutrients in shit. Just again to remind everybody, there's nutrients in shit, and if your body chases nutrients, you should eat shit.
Yeah, exactly. How far do you go with this sort of line of reasoning? And then before we move on to sort of still man the position, there is EPA and DHA in algae, so yeah, which is not an animal source. Yeah.
Yep, I have it in my cupboard.
With a lot of fat-soluble vitamins.
And just in case he meant sat fat, there is sat fat in plants as well. I'm just covering all of my bases because he's not being specific.
You cannot get from anything except animal sources, and they come with a lot of fat-soluble vitamins that you do need that are essential So, you do need to eat these things. And so when you're getting these nutrients from the fat and from high nutrient dense foods, which meat is,
Yeah, I'll just add that, yeah, fat soluble vitamins you can get from plants as well, through plant fats, or vitamin A you can get through better, carotenoids, and then,
Yeah.
especially, there's different sort of qualities of meat as well. But when you're getting that high quality,
I think Chafee, I'm sorry I'm stopping. Chafee is going to take a much stronger stance on the lack of nutrients than Sean. Sean was like very specific about it. Well, it has some nutrients in more quantities, and there are some. What was he said? He said something, Patrick. It's he said about what is it? Something about nutrients in animal foods that are like health promoting or something like that.
I think maybe he said that there's some phytonutrients
there was a specific sentence that he used. I'll check it out later. I heard it like 10 times, but I can't remember it. Damn it. All right.
Nutrition, you will be satiated for longer because your body has those nutrients, and so you stay.
Having the nutrients promotes satiation. What's the evidence to back that up? Because there's been cases of toxicity from eating too much liver. So
also just something funny. When I reposted our last one, people in the comments, there's a guy who was like, he's so carb addicted he can't even get through 2 hours without eating his carbs or whatever. It's like, it's my what am I not allowed to eat now? It's my breakfast. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, it's like morning for you, Brandon.
It's like, you can't even wait a couple hours, huh? Addict boy. It's like, whoa, take it easy. Yeah, it was
Oh
weird.
my God, we have bodily functions like every other human. Frankly, I think it's just dehumanization. When people say this kind of shit as if vegans are a different type of being from the rest of humans, it's kind of weird.
I'll add also that intermittent fasting is pretty the results have been pretty disappointing. So if anything, eating more regularly, from what I've seen in terms of some health outcomes, is better than fasting. A lot of these people are like, oh, you fast, you're detoxing your body, but this hasn't really been demonstrated through the available studies.
All right.
Stay more satiated, have better energy levels longer.
And what about the converse, that some people eat too much fat?
I'll add in terms of under eating, if your energy levels could actually decrease if you're not eating enough. So he's saying, you're more satiated, your energy levels are for longer, but under eating is also can be a bit dangerous because it can lead to weight loss or too much, not fueling yourself properly.
Yeah, last time I checked,
that's in it.
Sorry. No problem. I was going to say, last time I checked, food satiation has very little to do with energy levels. So just because you're satisfied from a certain food or meal, it doesn't mean you're going to have enough calories to power you through workouts or something. Those are two totally different things.
You can have a massive salad.
So I'm trying to be fair because we kind of stopped a lot, but I'm trying now to piece his entire sentence together. And I think there is some kind of correlation with what he said before, right? He's saying that our bodies are searching for nutrients, and therefore when you eat nutritious food, then you are more satiated.
Your body also needs energy though, right?
And there's this, I think his whole connection is like fat. Fat will make you nauseous. Fat will satisfy you. Fat has essential nutrients you can't get anywhere else. Or sorry, animal fat specifically. So that's why people are experiencing this on a carnivore diet. But again, there's no evidence. He's not providing any evidence for his claims. He's not even referencing. He's not even referencing anything. He's just going straight off the dome. And almost all of what he's saying can apply to fatty foods, plant-based. Right? Why would anything that he's saying be specific to high-fat animal foods? You could have more, higher fat plant foods like avocados. Avocados are super satiating. They're high in fat. They're high in fiber. So I just don't know. I don't know what the point. Is his point? This will lead to optimal health long-term for humans, because that doesn't stem from what he's saying. So I just don't know what his point is.
I've been wondering about something for a while, and I've been dreaming to try to do this, but I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough in like foods even that exist in the world. I was thinking that probably if we put our heads together, we can create a diet that is nutritionally incredibly similar to the carnivore diet just from plants. I bet it's possible. I bet we can do it. It's going to be a miserable diet for sure, right? It's going to have lots of coconut oil in it, or coconuts altogether. But I bet it's possible nutritionally just to say, well, this is the nutrition that people get on the carnivore diet without the supplements. We'll put the supplements away. Can we create a diet that is incredibly similar just from plant foods? What do you think, Patrick? Is it possible?
For sure, yeah. You would have to go you can do more sort of health promoting vegan keto diet, but this one, as you said, you'll probably have to substitute for the coconut fat, which is somewhere in the middle between saturated fat and vegetable oils in terms of health outcomes. So
I was thinking
definitely possible.
Yeah, I was thinking you could probably just do tofu just slathered in coconut oil, because essentially you need a high protein, low fiber or no fiber, and then higher saturated fat. So you could probably do literally like tofu, just take all the fiber out and then add in a bunch of coconut oil and just get the ratios right for what you would get for like eating 3 steaks a day or something. You could probably do that.
There's too much carbs in tofu though, isn't it? There's carbs.
Are there carbs in tofu?
Maybe seitan will be a better choice. Like seitan is basically pure protein.
Okay.
And,
something, sorry, I forgot about the carb thing. Yeah, something that's the tricky part, is getting something low or no carbs.
We can get into the nitty gritties as well and try to match all the single amino acids as well. And I think the way to do it is going the route of yeast, actually, which is basically like I don't know, I could be wrong about it. It's basically like an animal cell, but single-celled organism kind of situation.
Beyond burgers might be difficult because they have fiber.
I was going to say, what's so interesting is like, if we did do this, if you match the exact nutrient profile, they would still say, no, it's not the same. And you're like, okay, then you're just saying
what modality?
You're just saying that there's something magical in your animal flesh that is somehow curing diseases. So yeah, I would actually like somebody to do that just for fun, just to figure out like the perfect combination of things to match like what a carnivore diet would look like, just vegan.
Patrick, what do you say? Should we try it?
I don't know. Because I think my cholesterol has like a propensity to go up. I'm
not talking about eating it. I'm talking about creating a diet. Just creating it on paper.
Yeah, we could.
I mean, fuck, I'll eat it. I have the money for all the coconut fat. I have the money to buy esoteric foods from whatever. I'll eat it. I'll eat like this for a month. If we create a vegan carnivore diet, and I'm gonna report everything. Let's do it.
I am willing for you to consensually sacrifice a little bit of your health for the experiment. So I am into it.
Yeah. And maybe I should do like a lipid panel before and after, and HbA1c and all. Oh shit, no, I can't do it. I have too much diabetes in my family. God damn it. I'm not willing to sacrifice that.
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I would like somebody to create it. I definitely don't want somebody to eat it. It's not worth it.
Big dream, I'm not rich, but I live so scurvily that I can for a month double my budget, my food budget, and I'm gonna be okay with it. I'm not rich, but I'm not poor either. So
So I think so. You mentioned you mentioned yeast, sort of nutritional yeast, right?
Nutritional yeast, like brewer's yeast, kind of stuff.
So maybe seitan coated with nutritional yeast with a coconut oil on top. I don't know.
Yeah.
No. Nutritional yeast is a powder. We can't do powders.
Oh yeah.
No, mine is a flake. That's okay.
Oh, flake. Oh, okay. Sorry. He did. Yeah, that's true. Flakes. I guess that is different. Powders, technically.
Powder out because flakes are breaking down. We can just pick the individual flakes and put them on top of the seitan.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, for people listening, the powder was Sean Baker's claims. I don't know if Chafee would sign off on that as well. If something is a powder, it is unhealthy in any dose. Would he sign off on that?
I mean, it sounds like Chafee so far is like way worse. Sean Baker at least was like being very cautious. He's like nervous giggling, like, haha, maybe.
And Sean never commits to his claims. He never commits to them. He immediately kind of walks back his claims into, well, it's for me, well, for some people, blah, 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 kind of stuff.
No,
He
Chafee's just going
immediately
for it.
muddies the water after he dropped a bomb in there. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to say Chafee's just going for it. He doesn't care.
He doesn't give a shit. Yeah, he's also much more appeal to nature kind of guy. That's why the name of this stream is, what is it? Cave painting dieter. He's getting there. He's getting there.
My gut I'll just add quickly that my gut feeling is that he's one of the ones strongest in the grift, because he does it live. People just send him money, $20, $40 for just one question. So
for sure, I can agree with that.
Sorry, when you say strongest in the grift, do you mean he buys his own bullshit, or he's or the opposite?
So he'll just be carnivore until the end now. Nothing can change his mind. Or even if he does change his mind, just the grift is too strong. He cannot go back.
I think he's almost purely motivated financially at this point. Because the patterns that he's doing, like really committing to points or to arguments or to claims that have no evidence or very little evidence supporting them, and taking people's money and giving, all of these patterns. I think he's purely motivated financially at this point. He's not going back.
Yeah. For example, with the debate with Dr. Nagra, there was a point about the tribes, right? Where Dr. Nagra made the rebuttals to his reference on the tribes, and then he brought it up again in a recent debate with Jack Higgs and Tash Peterson. So it's like he's heard the rebuttals, but he's still saying that he's still citing the same, just because it probably not everyone might have listened to the debate with Dr. Nagra, my gut feeling. So he just feels like just repeating the same points, like refusal to learn and adjust.
I was actually about to ask if any of you have a good rhetorical way to point that out, or to make it clear, if not to the person, but to the audience, when somebody, sometimes in the same fucking conversation, made a claim, was given a strong rebuttal against the claim, right? And then the claim is repeated again as if nothing happened. So basically, I say A, somebody tells me, no, A can't be true because it's B. And I'm saying, yeah, but A. Is there a stronger rebuttal? Is there a strong way to point that out to people? So I don't know. You guys are better at debates and shit.
I was just gonna say, for somebody, because I experience that all the time doing activism. I'm finding that the best possible way to prevent that is to have them acknowledge that what you're saying makes sense, or that they agree with you at some level, right? So if they say, for example, I don't know, killing plants is the same as killing a dog, for example, right? Because I've had that. And I point out, the difference is dogs have a brain, central nervous system, they are recognized as sentient, plants don't. If I just make that point and I move on, they might go back to that because they never actually acknowledged, I didn't force them to acknowledge, oh yeah, that makes sense. Or, oh yeah, okay, I agree. But if I go, would you say that chopping a carrot is the same as slitting the throat of a dog? Or would you say that makes sense? Or would you agree with that? Something that gets them to acknowledge it, that helps prevent them from then 5 minutes later going, well, killing a plant's the same, because I actually had them out loud agree with it or acknowledge how silly they sounded. That's the best way to prevent that. But if they keep doing it, you're just dealing with somebody who's dishonest or too unintelligent to realize they're being dishonest. So at that point, you just press them on it. Like, look, I've already debunked, or I've already, explained why your point is invalid. But if they keep doing it, some people are literally just, like I said, dishonest or too unintelligent to know they're dishonest. So
there you go, guys. Good tip.
In my opinion, it works well to sort of get them to concede, as Brandon was saying, or just give them an opportunity to amend their argument.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's great. Give them a chance to once you've debunked, give them a chance to maybe rephrase or restate their point or change it. Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, under no, I think now like the best way is under no instances to just move on, because then it just becomes like just a bullet. I don't know what's the name, just a scattergun approach, or I don't know what the word is, but they just start throwing all sorts of things at you, and it's just like stick to one point.
Yeah, do not move on. And if somebody is like especially if you're having a conversation like on the street, if somebody is like saying something, make sure that you either get them to concede on that point, or like do not move on, because if you move on, they can use that later on in the conversation, or now they're like Patrick said, they're just going to be like, it's like the whole conversation is going to be scattered. You want to be in control and holding the other person accountable.
And just also maybe repeating their claim. So for example, just say, is your claim that plants are sentient? And then when they sign off on that, you talk about it and like do you concede that this is not the case, etc. Stuff like this, I think, is a good way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I guess both of you had something on your chest about plants feeling pain. Is it
I'm shocked how often I hear it, and it's really like it's unbelievable.
It's like Twitter. That's what's on the collective Twitter mind right now. Plants are sentient, though. My God.
The converse, that some people eat too much fat because they have an appetite for fat.
It's difficult to eat too much fat.
How much too much fat? Over 80% that Chafee says that we should eat. How is that even humanly possible to eat that much fat? And then okay, but 90% is too much fat. I'm flabbergasted.
From taste, things would just not start
So,
not tasting as good.
I just said that the keto diet is 70-80% fat.
Jesus. So it is possible. On the keto, I understand. The keto, that's what they eat. They eat the oils and the eggs and lots of butter and shit and bacon and all that stuff. But carnivore.
I'm surprised the protein isn't higher. I would think the protein would be pretty high, but maybe. Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I guess if you keep your protein at 30% and then 70% is fat, because you're not really consuming any carbs, so that kind of would make sense.
I'm just thinking, maybe I'm thinking about Sean's diet way too much. Maybe Chafee has a different approach, but Sean's diet is basically muscle meat, right? And that's at the best is 80% protein and 20%.
No, I think that's what Chafee does too.
So no butter, right?
I don't think Chafee does butter. I could be
wrong.
Think
Sean, Sean if he does butter, it's like a small cube on top, I think. So it's kind of weird.
Is it possible? Maybe we should look into this, if it's possible to be in ketosis just by eating animal flesh from,
You mean without like butter and oils and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what is the mechanism behind ketosis even? What is it converted to what? It's converting fat into what is the
bodies or...
Sorry?
I'm not an expert in the actual mechanism, but I think you start producing ketone bodies.
But from something, right? It's not out of thin air. It's from something that you eat, isn't it?
Well, I believe what happens, and I'm not an expert, but this is what I've heard. When you're not consuming carbs, you end up converting fat into ketones, right? And then that's what you use as energy. But you're not supposed to be. So I heard Bart Kay talk about it. He mentioned that after a meal, because he eats primarily muscle meat as well, after a meal, he is not in ketosis. So he says his claim is that you're actually not supposed to be consistently in a ketogenic state. After a meal, you're not in ketosis because of gluconeogenesis, I think. But then in between meals, or after, I think you said 8 hours or 6 hours or something, he ends up going into a ketogenic state. So I don't know. I don't know if any of that's true, but yeah, I don't think you are, even when you're not consuming carbs, I don't think you're constantly in ketosis. I think that's actually a really dangerous thing to be, state to be in, is constantly in ketosis. I think you go in and out.
It just dawned on me while you were talking that you were invoking Bart Kay.
Yep. Yeah, that's probably a mistake when I repost this. But yeah, no, people keep commenting saying that I should debate Bart Kay. And the problem with Bart Kay is he's probably the most aggressive and at the same time, I don't want to say arrogant, but resistant to any type of debate at all. He essentially denounces all of nutritional science, and he never wants to debate the ethics or the morality. You know, because I've offered to debate veganism for what veganism is, which is a moral position. I think there are people way more qualified to debate nutrition. I just wouldn't feel 100% confident. I'd rather see Dr. Matthew Nagra debate Barquet. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I'd love to see that. But I'll debate veganism as a moral position all day long. It's just nobody wants to do that because all they care about is their diet.
Yeah, it's a bit of a selfish position, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like it wouldn't be worth, I guess, in my
Sorry.
opinion, it wouldn't be worth someone debating Barquet, in my opinion, because from what I've seen or what I've heard is that he's more of a character, so he's playing a role. So I'm not sure how productive that debate would be. And I think he did sort of try debating someone, or was it Dr. Avi or someone like this? And it just ended up in him sort of rage quitting, right? Or
well, I saw, because what happened was he to debate Avi, he had all of these weird criteria. Like Avi couldn't talk to Isaac or somebody else publicly about Barquet or about the debate. He had to present only like 1 or 2 studies, or it was something like all of the criteria was so specific that Avi just started like trolling. Like he kind of just started trolling Barquet, and Barquet got so upset, got so angry that he just quit the whole thing. So yeah, that's like who people like that. I agree with you. I think it's not worth engaging with. Like at least Chafee and Sean Baker, they will debate in what seems like a respectful and, you know, at least decent faith, like at least trying to, you know, have a good debate. Even if they're wrong, or even if, you know, they are being a little dishonest with their claims. But Barquet is a whole nother level.
Will just not start not tasting as good. But also you have a sort of an overflow valve for fat anyway, because our body has a limited capacity for absorbing fat. So we make bile from our liver that's stored in our gallbladder, released into our intestine, small intestine, and that is what emulsifies.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Fat allows
I had to think about the where gallbladder releases bile, but yeah.
To absorb it. You have a finite amount of bile. It's not made very quickly. You know, it takes 24 hours to make around 800 milliliters of bile, and after that, you're out. You know, you run out. And so,
what happens? I wonder if you eat so much fat that you run out of bile, and how is it that 80% doesn't reach that quota? I don't know.
Once you run out, it's very difficult for your body to absorb that. It can do a little bit. It can, you know, especially like medium chain fatty acids can get a bit of those, but it's actually a very, very small percentage of the fat can be absorbed without bile. So the vast majority of that will go out. And so the only way you could really overeat fat is, well, you can overeat fat in the sense you eat more fat than your body can absorb, but you're not going to absorb it really. So it's very hard to
Wait, I have a argument against the carnivore diet. It wastes too much water, because if most of your fat comes out as poop, then your floaters are kind of when they're floaters, right? They're floating on the top. It's very hard to get them down. You know, vegan poop, it just goes down on itself. You barely need to use water to flush your vegan poop, right?
And really quick, it's the claim that after a certain threshold of fat consumption, you just flush it out. Is that true? I've never heard that before. Because I'm pretty sure the calories, right? If you can, obviously calories would still stand. But the fat themselves, you just flush it out.
There'll need to be some sort of evidence towards this claim, a study or something like that.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
overabsorb fat. And you were, some people think that, well, maybe I have to take digestive enzymes and like ox bile or something like that. Then you can overabsorb fat. Absolutely. If you take ox bile, then that forces your body to absorb fat because now you're adding more bile to the mix. But I think that that's probably not a good idea.
What a cruel fucking thing. Like, let's think on it for a second. Ox bile. So, I mean, what an extreme fucking diet, both morally and healthfully and environmentally. And I don't know. Because
your body doesn't do anything on accident. I don't think it's making a random amount of bile just for a random amount of fat in return. Your body is very precise in what it's going to expend energy on and resources.
What about cancer?
And
I thought nothing happens by accident. So cancer is like purposeful. We shouldn't eliminate cancer in our body, right? That's not foreign, right? Cancer isn't like a foreign substance. It originates in the body. So I don't understand this whole like your body is perfect in every way and nothing happens by accident. Nothing is, like it's almost like religious. Although I don't know if Chafee is religious, so I don't know.
Yeah, like these claims are your body has an innate wisdom or
right, like he's almost like implying a creator of some kind. Like there was intention with the creation of our bodies, and like yeah, maybe from a evolutionary standpoint, sure, our bodies have a lot of adaptations to survive and stuff, but that doesn't mean there are no flaws. Like I don't understand. Like yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, when they say the body was designed to do this or that, I don't know what that means really.
yeah, like designed by who? Are you? Is he like a believer in? Like is he religious? I don't know.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, I understand. It's almost like a conflation with some kind of creation myth and like mythical. My body knows best. My body knows shit. Outside of my sentient control of it. It seeks nutrients. It creates the perfect amount of bile to deal with the amount of fat. It's like it's never like hold on. So it creates a body is perfect, and it takes in fat. It dispenses bile to take care of most of the fat, and whatever fat you don't, it doesn't dispense. It just leaves the body. Nothing happens with it, right? So what the fuck is like the actual, like if your body is perfect, what the fuck is the actual point of advocating for any diet? Like supposedly your body knows best how to deal with all kinds of nutrients. Why stop at fat? Why does your body not know how to deal with fucking carbohydrates? Like, and your body is perfect. Your body knows. My body wants chips. I think most people's bodies want chips. Sorry.
Yeah, you can just sort of apply this logic. Yeah, my body wants chips, my body wants donuts, and
nobody's perfect. It's gonna take care of it. Nothing will happen. I'm not gonna get fat, or whatever,
Yeah, I don't know.
And so I think that it's making a calculated attempt to say, hey, we're gonna have this much bile because we want this much fat in return. We want a return on our investment. So I don't think that that's random. So if you're taking in ox bile, then you're going to be forcing your body to absorb more fat than your body maybe would have wanted. Now, if you don't have a gallbladder and you're going to eat a big meal and all that sort of stuff, well, that's a personal choice in a special situation.
If you don't have a gallbladder, it's a personal choice to either supplement or not supplement, like, I don't know, something like a ox bile. It's not like surgeons tell you, well, don't eat like too much fat, right? After you have your gallbladder removed. I mean, it's your personal choice. It's fine. What the kind of rhetoric is that? I don't understand.
But most people under most conditions don't need to do that. In order to sort of overeat fat and overabsorb fat, you'd have to take ox bile, or you'd have to eat so much excess fat that even that small percentage of excess fat or that small percentage of fat that was absorbed then becomes too much. And so you have to eat so much fat. So you're going to have most of this stuff is going to be going out, remember.
How does he know how much fat how does a person know without like counting nutrients? I mean, I don't understand. Is he promoting intuitive dieting or not? If the body knows, how would that even happen that they eat too much fat? I don't understand. Oh, I mean, I guess just again to be charitable, I guess he gave an example that people come and tell him that a half meal through, they think the food becomes disgusting, but they continue eating it. So I guess that, I don't know.
And when you have an abundance of fat in excess that you have to excrete, that comes out as loose stools. You get diarrhea. And so you're going to have like...
Guys, we found the problem.
Quite dramatic diarrhea and loose stools, and that's not going to be a very fun situation. And so you're gonna look at that and be like, okay, I'm not gonna just
5 Minute Body knows. She knows what's up. She's like, yes. She's like, I have experienced what you're talking about.
Can you talk about it for a little bit? I need a break.
Sure. Yeah, I can talk about 5 Minute Body's diarrhea.
I don't know. Yeah, what there is to say about that, really. So let's check what the comments people are saying. If you don't have a brain, it is a personal choice. Yeah, Tone Row actually wonder if he really believes his drive or he knows he's a grifter. It's a good question. Yeah.
Honestly, by the way he's talking about things, again, they all sound they kind of sound like they're making a lot of this up on the spot. Even though I'm sure they thought it, they repeat claims, but they don't sound very confident because they're not basing it off of anything. They're kind of just speaking off the dome. So yeah, I think he knows that a lot of this doesn't actually hold up, but I don't think he really cares. Like, I think he's fine with this like speculative, anecdotal stuff because either he himself is doing okay with it or he's getting enough money and reaping the benefits of spreading this information from others. So yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if they've managed to convince themselves that they are doing a good job. It's possible.
Maybe.
Have you heard of Jay Shetty?
No.
He's a popular sort of spiritual guru.
Oh, my favorite.
Yeah. We can ask post-mortem, but recently, have you heard of Jay Shetty, post-mortem?
No, I don't think I had the pleasure.
He's sort of a spiritual guru who interviews many people, and there was recently an article about him potentially suggesting that he's also another charlatan, and he sort of claimed that he spent three years as a monk, and then that he was then sent back to Europe to sort of share his findings of the world. And
Patrick, frankly, once you say spiritual guru, I don't think you need to specify that they're a charlatan, but that's my personal opinion on the matter.
Yeah, anything with the word guru is usually not a good sign.
No. Okay, is he something worth responding to, Patrick?
He platformed Dave Asprey. Is that his name?
Yeah, I think Dave Asprey.
Yeah. So from what I know, I think Jay is maybe he follows a plant-based lifestyle, or maybe he's even vegan. But he was platforming Dave Asprey, and Dave Asprey was talking about his stuff with sort of phytates leaching minerals from bones, and he was like, yeah, there's a responsibility for the podcast host to make sure they're not platforming grifters or people that they can push back against. Yeah,
I agree.
All right. So maybe one day we can
we've got a long list of things to respond to. Maybe it's worth sending out a community vote or something and getting people to vote what they'd like to see a response to.
Oh, that's a good idea. We can do that. Yeah, for sure.
Just keep eating fat, you're going to keep having horrible experiences. And so you could do that, but it's very, very difficult. And you have to really fight against yourself to do it.
Okay, here's a question for you. So I have so many members on my community group that say, I am doing strict BBE, and they have loose stools. They say, Rena, what can I do?
BBE is beef, bacon, eggs, for people who don't know.
I thought it was beef, butter, eggs.
Is it?
I thought it was beef, butter, eggs.
Well, yeah, the second B needs to be disambiguated, I guess.
Yeah, I've seen BB.
B-E.
Yeah, I've seen where it's beef, butter, bacon, eggs. Yeah, I've seen that too. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so it's probably butter. I think Brendan is right. Yeah.
Don't take a lipase supplement. Don't take the ox bile because it can make you over-absorb fat now, and then you're going to eat more. So what can people do when they're first starting? If they're getting loose stools, how can they help with that?
Well, it depends. It depends on what causes it, because a lot of people do a carnivore diet differently. And so most people drink coffee, and most people keep drinking coffee when they go carnivore, and coffee is a laxative. And when you don't have this just ton of fiber blocking the pipes, that laxative effect is much more
fiber blocks the pipes now. Jesus.
Dramatic and more noticeable.
I mean, any evidence for that? Patrick, you wanted to say something? I don't know. I'm not sure. No. Okay.
So such scientific jargon from a health professional.
Listen. Yeah.
Is much more dramatic and more noticeable. And so maybe you're drinking the same amount of coffee, but now you're getting diarrhea, right? Also, artificial sweeteners, even, like, especially like, sucralose and the different sort of sugar alcohols, those are definitely laxatives, but even stevia.
Is there any evidence for that claim?
Yeah, yeah.
Actually.
It can, yeah.
Yeah, there are some sugar-free substitutes that do, but it's with enough consumption, they create a laxative effect. But it's not in like small doses or like normal doses. It's usually you got to eat like a good amount of them.
And there's also individual variability as well. And polyols in some chewing gum, they can also be cause issues for some people. Some people can have intolerances to this.
All right.
Fruit sweetener, they could act in that way as well. So those generally need to be taken out. But some people say, well, they're not carbs, so that's okay on a carnivore diet. It's like, well, it's not meat, and it's not animal, so I still wouldn't eat it. And
that's a purist fucking sentence if I ever heard one. By the way, guys, subscribe. Please subscribe to Brandon, Logical Consistency, and to Patrick, Foolproof Mastery. Yeah, share this out online somewhere if you feel inclined to do so.
Please do, yeah.
I think based on that statement, I think he would sign off on the powder thing. I do. Now that he said, it's not meat, it's not an animal, I wouldn't eat it, I think he would sign off on the powder thing. I think he would agree with Sean Baker.
Why? Please draw me a diagram of some kind, because I don't see the connection between two.
Sure.
A powder can be produced from an animal.
Yeah. So I think Sean Baker's point was you would never find a powder in nature, right? You never just find which last time we said, if you take wheat and you grind it up into flour, it shouldn't make a difference. But based on this purist mindset of well, it's not an animal, it's not meat, maybe he would sign off on powdered meat, maybe, but I do think he has this if it's not a whole steak, I'm not going to eat it. It's not beneficial for you. So just speculating, I think he would sign off on it.
But what about the steak slurry? How about the steak slurry? No?
I don't know. We'd have to ask Sean Baker and Anthony Chafee. I might message you. Be like, hey, is a steak Slurpee okay? If I make a steak smoothie, is that cool?
Or what you said, if you sit down on a steak, is that a level of processing that you have a problem with?
Yeah, if I grate a steak with a cheese grater.
It's not animal, so I still wouldn't eat it, and it can act as a laxative, and so can coffee. So I would eliminate those two first. But if they're only on meat and only on water, right, or BBE strict, not having anything else, beef, butter, eggs, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs that Dr. Berry does, and they're only doing that, nothing else, then yes, I would say that you can just pull back on the fat. You just don't need to eat as much fat.
Now, many people follow a carnivore diet and they lose weight, but others don't lose weight or they hit a weight loss plateau. That's why I created the
Keto, duty. Keto is a thing. It's an actual thing. If you eat a certain amount of calories and you lose weight and you continue eating the same fucking way, you're gonna plateau or gain weight. Plateau, probably.
The ultimate 4-week fat loss course to help you easily lose fat. All the links are in the description and you can get 20% off for a limited time. How about now? Carnivore mistake number 3.
Is probably coffee. Most people drink coffee and they keep doing this, and then they'll run it.
Such amazing health outcomes from drinking coffee, right, Patrick?
Coffee has pretty good health outcomes, and so it's a shame that because it contains polyphenols, it can improve people's quality of life. I enjoy coffee.
Into that sort of issue that we were just talking.
So now, Patrick, I want you to start absorbing the way charlatans speak and all this nonsense that you said before about health outcomes and all that. Throw that in the trash and just say, I like coffee. I drink coffee every day. And that should be enough.
Talking about with loose stools, or they might not have loose stools, they may have normal stools. What that can do, that can mask how much fat you're taking.
We're talking so much about shit today. It's amazing.
And so, if you have dry, hard stools, then that means your body's absorbing all the fat that you're taking in, and none is getting sent out, right? So you do have that cap, you do have that overflow valve, and after that, that's going to go out. It's going to go into your stool.
He's talking about it like it's an actual valve. I mean, I guess it means some kind of metaphorically, right? I don't know. Is there like an actual valve that caps off the amount of bile you create, like a physical valve that moves in and out and at some point stops? I don't know.
I just literally don't know what any of this has to do with anything. Is this top 5? Is this like the 10 ways to not shit your pants on the carnivore diet? Like, is that what they're doing? Because when I think of mistakes, like I think of like things that are going to lead to poor health outcomes, or things that are going to increase the risk of disease, or something that actually matters, right? But they don't seem to care about that. They just seem to care about, okay, how do I eat this diet that is most likely to increase my risk of chronic diseases? How do I eat this diet without shitting my pants? Like, that seems to be the only concern. Like, are these going to be all the tips of like, okay, mistake number 3, drinking coffee because it'll make you shit your pants. Mistake number 2, eating too much fat because you'll shit your pants. Like, how many, I don't know. I just don't know.
It's like 10 things, 10 mistakes, or like 10 things which you must do so that your body still manages to function on a carnivore diet.
Yeah, it's like how to not miss work 3 weeks in a row on a carnivore diet. It's like, guys, this is ridiculous. Like, can we get to something valuable?
Like,
here?
yeah. Or like a Paul Saladino one, how to not get muscle cramps on the carnivore diet when you're walking to the car or something like this. Right.
Like, imagine if a vegan released a video, it's like how to not shit your pants. People would be going crazy, right? I mean, like, if I were to release a video on like mistakes, like how to avoid, like what you should look out for transitioning to a fully plant-based diet, it would be supplementation, because it would prevent deficiencies long term. It would be I don't know, maybe keep track of like food intolerances, right? Because if you're consuming a food that you're allergic to, it might not agree with you. And then it would be make sure to eat enough calories. And that's it. And that's literally it. Like, it wouldn't be like, okay, make sure you don't eat too much of this food or you'll shit your pants. You know, like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Guys, you're missing the point. The body is so perfect that you have to be so precise about your fat intake and protein intake. Otherwise, I don't know.
Right, so
you can't even make the point.
What Chafee is like forgetting to mention is that extra fat that you consume, that your body flushes out, that's the diarrhea in the middle of the day while you're at work. That's what that is. That's just the extra fat that it's flushing out.
Yep, don't trust the heart.
And these are like grown adults. I just don't understand. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, grown adults getting way too used to shitting their pants in the middle of the day.
And that's actually what's going to keep your stool soft. And so, you may go less often, but that's not constipation. Constipation is dry, hard stools, on the Bristol stool chart. You look that up. And so if there's fat in it, it'll dry out. It doesn't matter how long your colon is supposed to dry out. It's supposed to be.
It's actually a good point that Navia gives us in the chat. The carnivore dieters just should be like being sent like a gift of diapers for the first month.
I hope this is on the list. It's like, make sure to wear diapers for the first month. Mistake number 4.
Especially if you have like an actual important job, like I don't know, like a nurse. It would look terrible if you shit your fucking pants if you're a nurse.
But given that Dr. Chafee has all the solutions, has he personally gone through these issues himself? That'll be interesting to hear,
I mean, I'm gonna assume so. Just for my own enjoyment, I'm gonna assume that's how he came up with these solutions.
We should start writing down all the urgent questions we have to carnivore dieters.
He's like,
to carnivore doctors specifically.
He's like getting PTSD. He's like, they're like going down that list. He's like, mistake number 3, coffee. He's like, oh God. He's like, guys, don't do it. And like, he's like having flashbacks.
He's like, yeah, I had the rugby game. I had coffee before my rugby game.
Like, I had to sit on the bench for that game.
Guys, I had to call the person to unclog my toilet. Well, I guess it's diarrhea, it's liquid, yeah. My toilet was just full of liquid shit.
Hydrate this stuff.
We actually lost audience while talking about this.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, but
I'm happy with it. We had fun.
Job. And so, people say, well, you need to eat fiber so you can move this super quick so it doesn't dry out, all that much. You're literally fighting against your nature. So obviously that's incorrect. When you have excess fat, that keeps that in there. It's already dry. Fat repels water. And so it can stay in there for as long as you want. It will never get more dry than that, and it'll stay so.
So potentially, what is the claim? Potentially, you can never shit again
Guys, he's been talking about his poop for like 5 minutes.
About?
Like this has been nothing but him talking about his poop. Can we get to like Jesus? Oh my God, I don't. And also, he just said eating fiber is fighting against your nature. What does that mean? Like humans have been eating fiber forever. Like, yeah, we haven't had industrial agriculture forever, but we've been eating, like, there have been isotope, even, like, more recently. I think Mike the Vegan made a great video talking about how there's been research showing that we've been eating plant fibers and acorns and shit forever. Like, I just don't know what he means by fighting against your nature. I don't know.
Didn't our ancestors have, like, 100 grams of fiber in their guts when they died or something like that?
I think that was one of it was in one of the studies, I think, yeah, but I'd have to look at it.
Yeah.
So it's that little excess fat that means A, you're getting enough fat because you're absorbing as much as your body wants you to absorb. So I would consider that definitionally enough fat, and then a little extra, and then that's your clear objective marker that you're getting enough fat and your body's absorbing everything it wants to, and a little extra, right? So if you're constipated, you're having dry, hard stools, and you're drinking coffee.
Hold on, guys. Sorry.
Then,
I just thought of a really, like when people start going crazy in movies and they've got all of the pictures and they're like all connected, like they're trying to figure out a crime. I can picture walking into Chafee's house and there's just pictures of his shit, like there's pictures of his poop, and they're like all connected, and he's like with a what's it called, like an eyeglass or whatever, like magnifying glass. He's like, I've almost got it, like just going crazy.
What's the mechanism?
Oh my God, that's funny.
You can actually speed things up, and it can move it through, and you think, oh yeah, I'm not having normal stools, and normal consistency stools, and so that's fine. But they have other problems, and they're not doing as well. Skin's not as good, or their hair's a bit dry and brittle. They don't have as much energy when they're working out and things like that. And even though they're drinking coffee, they don't have great energy levels, which can also be damaged by caffeine as well. That's what.
Excuse me, energy levels can be damaged by caffeine?
I think he meant like low energy levels is damaged by caffeine, or right?
Can also be damaged by caffeine.
Well,
they don't have great energy levels, which can also be damaged by caffeine as well.
Yeah, I think he's saying that your energy levels can be damaged by, like, you can have somehow. Does he mean like permanent damage from caffeine consumption or something?
I'm not even sure. It's just your energy, some kind of an entity that is our energy, can be damaged by caffeine.
So you're talking about like just a crash? Because that's a weird way to word like a caffeine crash. I don't know.
I'm not even sure. This is extra vague.
That's what you have to sort of start to think about. If you're eating enough fat and you're drinking coffee, you probably should have diarrhea.
I mean, he's repeating it like so many times at this point. I'm half thinking of skipping.
And so that can mask.
Yeah, I think, can we go to point number 4? I think we gotta I'm just curious if it's another poop one. I can't do this anymore.
Hold on.
You have better energy levels overall. You sleep much better, which means you'll have better energy the next day if you avoid these sorts of things.
So I would love to know from everyone watching: have you quit coffee? Are you doing coffee? Does anyone feel better from not having coffee?
Because that's what's important, the personal feelings.
Well, I was also going to say, and engagement and selling the programs, and that's all that matters. It doesn't really matter if any of this is valuable or yeah.
Listen, there's nothing wrong about engagement. She's doing great.
Look, she's doing great. She's a very successful YouTuber.
That's fucking incredible.
That's crazy. That's crazy talk.
I'm not gonna lie, for a second there I pondered becoming a charlatan.
It seems that you just can't give up. So comment down below, because as you know with Dr. Chafee, he's just all about having coffee. I'm not quite there yet, but maybe you can inspire all of us that are coffee drinkers to get there. But Dr. Chafee, what is carnivore mistake number 4 that we're making?
Hopefully it's not about shit this time.
Well, I think a major one is keeping in some sort of sweetener, like the monk fruit sweetener or the stevia.
It's going to be
Is this going to be about if this is going to be about diarrhea again? All right, keep going.
Did he say keep the sweeteners or get rid of them?
I think saying the mistake is keeping in the sweeteners. I think he's going to say don't do sweeteners.
Well, let's hear him out.
The 4 that we're making.
Well, I think a major one is keeping in some sort of sweetener, like the monk fruit sweetener or the stevia or the sugar alcohols, things like.
Say it, please, baby, please say aspartame, please.
that usually the coffee and sweeteners go hand in hand. Usually someone's still drinking coffee and, well, I don't want to put sugar in it, so I'll put this sweetener in it as well. Or maybe, in whole, heavy cream or something like that. And they always ask me, he's like, well, I do have heavy cream in my coffee, is that okay? And I was like, well, heavy cream's fine. Coffee's not great, and so, that's
Guys, new carnivore food, just heavy cream, just drink it like coffee.
I was gonna say, he's like, actually, I've got a better idea. Take out the coffee, just drink the heavy cream. He's like, you're not gonna believe this. You don't need the coffee, just do the cream by itself.
That's my main thing. Is I think it's as important what not to eat as what to eat. You're eating meat, you're getting fat. Those are very important nutrients. Those are vital. You need those.
Meat is a nutrient, guys.
Those are vital. You need those. Just blanket statement.
Yep.
It just cause harm, and then those things are plants and fungi. And so
plants are trying to kill you, everybody.
What a fucking claim.
He's like, there's actually 400 known carcinogens in artificial sweeteners.
They all have different sorts of defense chemicals and different ways and means of protecting themselves, to varying degrees. But, if you're looking for optimal health and you're looking to feel...
Hold on, these are artificial... Does he not know what artificial sweetener means? These aren't natural occurring plants. They're not plants with defense. These are man-made sweeteners. What is he talking about?
I didn't even catch that. That's amazing. Yeah, that's true.
To be fair, I think the ones he mentioned, like stevia... I think it's like,
oh, that's true. Like monk fruit and stevia. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So maybe he's just referring to those. But there's like sucralose, there's aspartame, there's things that are man-made and not from a particular plant. So yeah.
That's a new one. Artificial sweeteners are trying to kill you.
Oh, that's definitely tagline for part B, which I'm assuming we're going to have to do because we're still on number 17. But I really want to hear him because I swear he started with saying artificial sweeteners and then continued actually making the list of non-artificial sweeteners. Or what is the definition of artificial, I'm guessing? So.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, because I guess stevia and monk fruit extract, would those be artificial sweeteners or would they be sugar alternatives? I think they would probably be like sugar alternatives. I'd probably maybe classify them better at that. I don't know.
I think what classes as artificial is anything with just sweetens without adding calories.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, would then those sweeteners that he mentioned classify, I guess?
So from what my gut feeling is that stevia, from what I remember, is an artificial sweetener. Yeah.
Okay.
But if you're
but artificial sweeteners are trying to kill you guys.
Looking for optimal health and you're looking to feel as good as you possibly can.
This is walking back, right? A second ago, guys, plants are trying to kill you. That's a second ago. But now he's talking about optimal health, isn't he?
If you're looking for optimal health and you're looking to feel as good as you possibly can, then, you do want to sort of eliminate these things down to just meat and water, maybe salt to taste if that's your predilection. But, the main thing is to try to eliminate out all of these other things. And I definitely think artificial sweeteners are in that category. I think that.
So is this entire list? The entire list is could have been summarized by just eat meat, water, and maybe a little bit of salt.
How sad, is that?
Yeah, I think the whole list is like, hey, if you guys think these other things are okay, we're going to make an hour-long video telling you it's not okay. Just eat beef, water, and salt.
And a video which, so far, correct me, did he mention any studies yet or not?
No.
My gut feeling is that no.
This is all off the dome.
Maybe Sean Baker's friend David. By the way, we know who is now. I think. What was it? Unwin. David Unwin. Something like that. Yeah.
Specifically for weight
So maybe David will come by and save Chafee from
loss and fat loss, because I think fat loss is a better way of saying it, because you may I lost 23 pounds just ditching vegetables and increasing the amount of feed. I quintupled my calories and lost 23 pounds.
Dude, if I hear this claim one more time, how is he still saying this claim and expecting people to believe it? I quintupled my That's 4 times your calories and you lost weight? What are you talking about? I eat 2,500 calories a day. That would be me like eating over, what is that? Over 10,000 10,000 calories.
10.
That would be eating 10,000 calories and being like, I lost 23 pounds. It's like, what?
I can't even imagine. Like for me, it would be over 6,000 calories. There is a food that I could get there very easily to 6,000 calories.
Is it raw potatoes?
No, it's the Turkish sweet called halva.
Oh, halva? You eat halva? That's the sunflower seed powder, right?
That shit is fucking delicious. No, it's not sunflower. It's sesame seed.
Oh, sesame seed. Right.
It's basically tahini with loads of sugar, and when you mix them together, it creates kind of a hydrogenated block thing.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I don't like. So I grew up eating because my parents are from Central Asia. So I grew up eating it, and I never liked it. My dad loves it. He'll eat that all day.
So dry.
I love it so much. I could literally eat 2,000, and I have in the past. Literally eat 2,000 calories of it easily in one sitting.
No, guys,
it's so delicious. It's so calorie dense. It's amazing.
I can get to 10,000 calories, no problem. See, for me, it's not I can get that number, but to get to that number and lose weight, like, what are we talking? Like, that's just crazy talk.
I can't. I actually have like a reflex. I puke a little bit in my mouth. I was for a while on a very calorie dense diet. That's how I got to a high degree of weight at some point.
Well,
not high.
No, that puke in your mouth. That's actually intuitive. That's your body telling you, hey, put the food down and come back to it another day.
I mean, frankly, it could be.
Yeah, it could.
Aye.
So
I still didn't have diarrhea though. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Nabia's just writing 1 block of tofu is 400 calories. Depends on, I don't know what the block of tofu is where you are.
Yeah. How many grams is that? Like, I get my blocks of tofu. My blocks are 200 grams, and that's about 225 calories. So.
Yeah, in Lidl they have like 500 grams of tofu for like very cheap. £2.
Yeah, for this it sounds like about 150. Sorry?
No, Patrick's food of choice, because he's so like I could totally see him like trying to eat 10,000 calories of just blocks of tofu. He's like, I'll get there, guys. Like, we're eating cookies and desserts and stuff, and he's like, I'll get there, guys. Don't worry. I'll get there.
Probably my food of choice would just be maybe seed oils.
Just guzzling them down. He's like
the most effective way, right?
Yeah, no, that's probably true.
Yeah, Navia says 400 grams. Yeah, extra firm tofu is about 1 calorie per gram. So yeah, sounds about right. If you get the extra firm stuff that doesn't have the water in it, I guess. Or is it the other way around? Is it diluted maybe? I'm not sure. The one I get is firm. It's just regular firm. So it doesn't matter. Okay. So wait, we were on a specific point where Chafee claims that he ate 4 times the calories and lost weight. 23
just by dropping vegetables. In fact, I think he actually, I think his original claim from like a while ago was he stopped eating broccoli and kale or something. Like, he literally just stopped eating like cruciferous vegetables and leafy greens, but he quintupled his calories. And quintuple, that's 5 times the calories, right? That's not 4, that's 5. So he's going like, he's eating 10,000+ calories, but he lost 23 pounds just by not eating broccoli.
Brandon, you're missing the point. Maybe before going carnivore, before ditching the veggies, he was eating 500 calories per day.
That's a good point.
And somehow getting fat on it.
Well, that's it. And somehow playing professional rugby or whatever he was playing. Like, because he said he was a competitive rugby player before he went carnivore. So somehow he is struggling eating leafy greens while playing competitive rugby. I don't know.
Big's Dream says in the chat, just say no to vegetables. Yeah, good advice. Yeah.
Ditching, spinach, kale, and broccoli. That's all I was eating: spinach, kale, and broccoli.
You were just talking about it.
I can eat meat, and I wasn't eating that much. I rapidly or dramatically increased my calories and the amount of meat I was eating, and just stopped the greens. I lost 23 pounds in 10 days. But then I stayed exactly
to get enough protein from eating just kale or spinach. I did the response to one like a similar claim he made. You'll be eating like rucksacks worth of,
Well, he said he was eating some lean meats. So let's look at this diet. He's eating kale, spinach, broccoli, and then some lean meat. That's it? Yeah, of course you're gonna feel like garbage. Like, what are you talking? Like, There's no grains. There's nothing calorically dense. There's nothing. You're definitely not getting enough calories, right? So to postmortem's point, you know, if he was
Fuck,
eating,
you're not getting enough.
So go ahead.
Sorry, something happened. See, it's not getting enough fat. Like, he was correct. We need a certain amount of fat. I'm
That's
sorry,
a good
there
point.
was something fucky going on with Google Meet.
Oh, no
But
problem.
yeah, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, to your point, he could have been eating like 800 calories, just with leafy greens and lean meats. But again, we don't know. That's the problem with anecdotes. Like, okay, he stopped eating leafy greens, lost 23 pounds in 10 days, which is already like, to do that, you'd have to be in a pretty heavy caloric restriction for those 10 days. But he's claiming he quintupled his calories, even though he hasn't talked about calorie counting once and goes off of intuitive eating. The whole thing is just not adding up. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, what a claim, isn't it? Like, every fucking sentence, like every fucking part in that claim is absolutely fucking magical, right?
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's one of those things where like if you say something a little bit incorrect, people can recognize that, okay, it's almost like it's easier for people to critically think when something's a little bit incorrect. But when something is so outlandish, like it's so crazy it might work, you know, like this is so crazy it might just work, you know that saying? When something is so crazy, it like people who have conspiratorial thinking, they go, wait a second, that's so crazy, there's no way he's making it up. Like, that's so crazy that there's no way what he's saying is wrong. You know, like, it's almost like past a certain threshold, the crazier something is, the more believable it gets. And I want somebody to study the psychology of that. I'm sure they have.
Yeah.
Right? You know?
That's an issue. Even there's also, you know, plant-based quacks who are also sort of pretty big, and unfortunately a lot of the public, they just fall for conspiracy theories or need some sort of extravagant claims, or, you know, something just so crazy that it just catches their attention.
Yeah.
Because like the normal sort of advice is not exciting enough for
right. Because for
people.
me, right, I would say probably for most of us here, right, our threshold of like evidence, or like for like critical thinking, it's linear, right? The crazier something is, the higher our what's the word?
Bells going off. Yeah.
Like, the more alarms we have ringing, the more we need evidence, etc. Right? But for a lot of people who I would assume follow Carnivore, it's like this, and it goes back down. So like, as it gets to a crazy level, it starts to go down to where like they start believing it. It's so interesting to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess probably some people, all they need to hear to be indoctrinated into, for instance, flat Earth is, dude, the Earth is flat. And they're there. That's it.
Well, no. I think what they need to hear is, what you've been told is a lie, right?
Yeah.
That's what they need to hear, because I think people, they feel very lost. They feel very disappointed in the way that the world is, or their experience in the world. And they need to know that that's not just how it is. It's actually a lie. It's actually a design, and it doesn't have to be that way, right? So I think as the second they hear what you've been told, that little inkling in the back of your head saying, oh, something's not right, you're right, this is a lie, they've all been lying to you, and this is the truth. That's like the trigger in every conspiracy theory. It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and every community has their sort of outlandish figures. So even to the point which I was talking about with plant-based, so there's some people who will make claims such as you don't need to be on medication if you're following a plant-based diet, or the
reversing of diseases too. Some people really.
So some people actually literally think they don't need to take medication for heart disease, or
supplementation.
Whatever.
I've actually seen people like raw vegans talk about how you don't need to supplement. It's like, what are you talking about? Why are you saying that? Like, yeah. And then those raw vegans, people who follow them will make a video 4 years later saying, I'm now carnivore.
Because my body fell apart on a vegan diet.
Yep. I did everything right. I ate smoothies and spinach, and I ate raw, and I didn't supplement, but I did everything right.
Yeah. But guys, I probably need to get going. It's been 2 hours, 15 minutes. So
Yeah, definitely part 2 in our future. And
you two can continue if you want, if you still have time. But
now we're a trio. No,
yeah,
no
absolutely.
way.
Yeah, I think this is good. I think we got to number 4. I think next time we now that we've kind of now that we kind of established what this is, I think if we let it play a little more, we should get through the rest of the points next time.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's definitely the goal. Yeah.
The first, just as a rough summary, the first 3, almost 4 points that we finished were mostly to do with managing digestive issues, right?
Very professionally said, Patrick. For those of you who speak more crudely, the first 4 points were how to not shit your pants doing a carnivore diet, and I'm excited to hear what the last 6 are. I hope they're not the same thing.
But they probably are. Okay, guys, thank you everybody for coming. See you next time.
Thanks everyone. See you later.